Okay. Yeah, we've talked quite a bit, haven't we? About
Yeah,
life and flying.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Okay, so today, I mean, we've got lots of time. You've taken the early bird package, if you like. So that means that you know, you're going to be with me for like 3, 4, 5 days a week. However many sessions you want, you can do Monday to Friday. It's up to you. Um,
Yeah,
the
for
rest,
me it would be perfect.
yeah. Well,
More
the
the better.
rest, everyone else is if they do a master trader package program, it's they have three sessions a week. But because
Okay.
because you're one of the first, and because you are, you know, yeah, I've got about 10 people that have joined first. It's up to you. You have my attention, so you can have
Perfect.
as much as you
Yeah,
need.
I would love it to do it every day.
Oh, okay,
For
good.
me, if it's okay with you, perfect.
Yeah, yeah, no worries at all. So I'm just gonna dive straight in, and I've seen
Yeah,
something that I thought was interesting. This is a dollar CAD. Um,
yeah.
what do you trade? What sort of trading have you been doing?
So that's the thing. I don't think I have actually a strategy. So I just kind of start on the bigger time frames. To go for the weekly, just try and spot the big trend, and then just dive down daily and 4 hour, and
Okay,
maybe see if there's an opportunity around the 1 hour or 2 hour time frame. Pretty much, it's just trying to go with the trend. So if it's going uptrend, just find a buy opportunity with either a trend line and some support and fibs, and just trying from there. But pretty much it. No other indicators, or maybe I try to use a volume just to try to back up a bit for what I see. But that's pretty much what I've been trying to do with limited success, let's say.
what in terms of volume and indicators, what sort of things have you been using?
Just so pretty straight the just the volume, just to
Yeah.
see the if it goes up or the, and I've since I've been following you, I put the awesome oscillator as well to see if trying to spot divergence as well,
Oh, excellent.
and
Okay, okay,
that's pretty much what I've been doing. No, I don't actually I don't. I tried with EMAs and SMAs, but I didn't dig deep enough, so it was I pretty much is just putting more clutter on the chart for me, so I leave it out.
okay. No, it's good. It's good. What trading package do you use? Do you use Trading View?
Yeah, yeah, I have Trading View.
Okay, let's have a look at Trading View. Excellent. Okay. Is it a paid version or a free version? Straightforward, free.
Now it's I paid a version now,
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
yeah,
Okay,
it's the Pro, I guess. I think yeah,
okay. So you're taking it quite seriously now that you're doing
yeah,
this.
yeah,
No, it's good. It's good. It's really good. Okay, so let me show you. This is the dollar CAD because dollar
yeah,
CAD on the high time frame. Really
yeah,
good. Really important from Sunday into Monday to look at the weekly. Obviously, always take into account also the much higher time frame like um, the um, the the monthly. So
yeah. Okay,
so you can see here right now we've had a really good move down and it's hit the
yeah,
76.4. This 764, I give it a lot of importance and a lot of my time. I pay attention to it because what I find is that we will often get to this level and people start to get excited. Retail traders, they might try
okay,
and short this to take it down to the 100%, but it might find some support here and bounce and go up first and stop them out, or it may change direction or resume to the upside. So it's a line in the sand. For me, this is the line that if you cross it, it becomes bearish, like properly bearish.
okay,
If it
okay,
stays above, then it stays bullish, and all it's done is it's put in a really decent correction to the downside, and so
okay.
it may well turn. So this is why I have what I call the 764 strategy, because
Yeah,
I find that this area here we will get a reaction, and quite often we will see price bounce off it. Now, it's very hard to tell whether it's going to give you a decent reversal. You know, is the market just going to reverse and go all the way up from here, or is it going to just simply do a little bounce and then continue short? So you look at it and you identify on a higher time frame, and this is a weekly. And what I noticed on the weekly, this is why I wanted to show you, was we've had this 2 weeks ago. We had this a reversal candle, really nice reversal candle, and because it's a weekly chart, that's a powerful candle because it's a weekly candle. We've had a week's worth of activity, and you can see the buyers have stepped in at this key area as well, which you can see price reacting off this 764, you know, for many weeks. Look at it here. It's very.
Yeah.
So we are acknowledging the 76.4. We are aware of this area, or the market is, and it's acknowledging it. So for me, this is telling us that there's potential for this to go back up, and to see some dollar strength. And also, then we would look at the dollar indicator, dollar index, and we've had we've had for a few weeks now and a few months, we've had some bullish price action. It's trying to gather some momentum, but we are of course at a previous structure. So you can see where again the 76.4 on the dollar index was respected. So that's why I give that 76.4 a lot of my time, because it bounced off there perfectly. So when I said to you about, you know, what sort of reaction we get, well, we had a decent reaction here. That was about 200 pip bounce, which is very big for the dollar index, because the dollar index doesn't move that much, but that's big move. And then we curled over and hit the 618 and bounced back down to do an N shape to retest, and we broke through. So that, you know, this is interesting price action. If it can break above, which it's trying to do today and this week and this month, we could see further upside on the dollar index. So we'll go back to the dollar CAD, because that has yet to really make a move. So you need to use a little bit of common sense as well sometimes when you trade, Pedro, because I found somebody was trading the dollar CAD at like 2 o'clock in the morning, European time, London time, you know. And it's a dollar, it's a Canadian dollar, the US dollar. So when do you think is the best time to trade that? If you was to look at it, when do you think the volume's going to come in? And
probably when the New York session starts, I'd say around our lunchtime, right?
yeah, so I said to this person, why are you trading at that time in the morning? If you want time freedom, and you want to have your work-life balance where you want to enjoy yourself, why do you want to be sitting up at 2 o'clock in the morning during the Asian session trying to trade a pair that
shouldn't move around at that time?
yeah. So a lot of it's common sense, really. You just need to have common sense and remember what you're doing, and consider. Yeah, just consider, all these things. You have the whole of that continent over that side of the world. The biggest economy in the world is over there. They're the people that are most likely going to be. Well, they are. They're going to trade. That's one of their favourite pairs. They're going to trade the Canadian dollar, the US dollar. So stuff tends to happen then. So you add it to your watch list. You keep an eye on it, and then as we go into the US session today, we want to see what's going to happen here. But certainly we've had a move up. We've had a pullback. So what we'll do is we will drill down to the lower time frames. What time frames do you tend to trade off?
So I think I cannot deal very well with, just constantly, like, scalping is definitely not for me. So I like to do proper analysis, and let's see, maybe on the 4 hour, if I can see some price action that might indicate like a buy or sell opportunity, then just maybe drill down 2 or the 1 hour, and if it makes sense, just go in and then just leave it there with a proper stop loss and take profit and just let it go. Okay. That's what I feel works best, and all the trades that actually work best were usually around this time.
Do you use the 15-minute or 5-minute?
I mean, I've tried to go in the 15. So like, I do go on the 15-minute, but I haven't properly. I mean, I just don't. I mean, I haven't been. So I don't have the tools, let's say, that properly use and identify on the 15-minute time chart if it's a proper opportunity or a good signal either for the trade I'm looking.
Yeah.
So I usually tend to stay on the higher time frames because it's more positive. Let's say
Okay.
that's what I feel.
Yeah. No. It makes sense. It makes sense. I think generally the moves, if they happen, they start to happen on the lower time frames. So
Yeah.
it's okay to drill down to both the 15-minute chart and the 5-minute chart because you're looking for an entry.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so if we do a top-down analysis on this setup, because this setup's really interesting, because if you look left on the dollar CADs, here it broke 129.50, and then it extended down beautifully to our 127 extension. Now this is divergence currently in play, divergence strategy, and
Okay. Yeah.
you can see we've had 2 days where it went up. We had on my software, it was telling me that it could curl back down and continue to the downside, but the second day that made everything invalid to the downside, and it told me that potentially we could be going higher.
Starting going down.
And yes, so from around 125 as well, a round number, currently sitting at around 127, a round number, and we're looking for 129.50 as a previous high. And this is what the divergence strategy is about. So we want to look at a number of confluences, so a number of reasons to get into a trade. So first off, with our awesome oscillator, we have divergence. We have, volumes getting lower, less and less and less and less and less. It would be nice to see this cross over the zero line into positive territory. But appreciate that this is a somewhat lagging indicator, so it's going to tell you after the fact. So what we would need to do is use that as a supporting role, as a secondary confluence. So primary confluences, the primary confluence has got to be the fibs because they're very precise. You can see that very evidently here in how price reacted after 127.
Yeah.
It's quite clean, really. It stabbed down a little bit below, but not much. So that's telling us that this fib extension levels, it's relevant, it's acknowledged. And then we've had the move up, and then we've had a pullback. So secondary confluences is also going to be these indicators. Do you have a stochastic indicator?
No, never tried it.
Okay, so put a stochastic on there, and the settings need to be 222.
Okay, that's 222.
It's very similar to an RSI. And that's what this one is at the bottom, and it gives us, just helps us look at overbought, oversold.
Okay, so 222?
Yes.
2 and 2. Okay, yeah, got it.
And MACD, do you use the MACD at all?
No.
It's up to you. You can have it if you want it. It's the settings are generic. I think there's something like a 26. Let me just have a look. It should be something like. Let's have a look at dollar CAD here. MACD is a 12, 26, and 9. 12, 26, and 9.
Okay. Yeah, that's the setup here as well. Okay.
Yeah,
12,
so
26.
So the generic setup is absolutely fine. Don't need anything else.
All right.
So again, these are secondary confluences. These are what we call secondary. So we have so if you imagine you're a Hollywood actor, you are the main actor, and then you have your supporting actors providing a supporting role. So the fibs are, in this case with trading, the fibs I from all the years of trading and backtesting, I find the fibs are very accurate and they're more precise than anything else. So they are primary, and then secondary you have things like these indicators, and I found these indicators work really, really well. A volume indicator is a must. A volume indicator, you sometimes see these volume indicators on the chart, along the side of the chart, maybe on the left side or right side, vertically positioned. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, but I think
it's very similar.
On the bottom works well for me.
Yeah, so it's fine. You know, fine if you want to put them on there or here. I just try and keep it off there because what I have on here is enough. So what we have here are EMAs, so exponential moving averages, The four that I use are we have an 8, a 21,
Okay.
and they're good for
21.
they're good for day trading, good for intraday, good for keeping you in a
Okay.
trend. And then we have the two important ones, the 50 and the 200.
Okay, 50 and 200.
Yeah. So what you'll find is with these EMAs, again, secondary confluence. So if you look on a daily chart for the dollar CAD, we are sitting with the 50 EMA. It's trying to break
Yeah.
above that 50 EMA. It's had 2 goes at it already. So the first go was quite good, and it did go above. But then the next day, we kind of just, well, the weekend, we kind of just, this was a Friday, and then it's kind of dropped back off that. But then we had another stab at it on this Friday. So over a period of a week, we've had another go. But then it's just left a wick to the upside, and the body closed below. But now, third time. So as a rule of thumb, always note to yourself, as with anything. So if you plot, say, a trend line, for example, it will make 2 points of contact, which allow you to plot a trend line.
Yeah.
So then you start thinking, you start looking at the third point, and you think, okay, where's the third point of contact? Where's that likely to be? And what happens on the third attempt is important. So in this case, the same thing here. Because the EMA is a form of support and resistance, this 50 EMA is providing, it's a daily 50 EMA, so it's quite powerful. It's providing that resistance at the moment. You see price has tested it once, twice. We're now looking to test it for a third time. So we're in, we want to keep an eye on that. We want to see what happens. If it can break above today, then maybe for the rest of the week we'll see a rally, and we'll start looking for a decent 200 plus pip move to the upside. And then you want to use these indicators as well. You want to see it cross over above the 0 line on your awesome oscillator. You want to see your MACD ideally get up and cross over as well. We'd start seeing some bullish price action. If it fails here and goes back down, then we may well just see a move back down to 125. So let's drill down to the smaller time frames to examine a potential entry and a potential stop. Because at the end of the day, this is about planning your trade and saying, whether you take it or not is up to you. But it's like saying to yourself, okay, what if it does this? What if it breaks that 50 EMA on the daily? What if it breaks 127, which is another confluence round number? If it does that, where do you want it to go? So then you need to start looking at smaller time frames for entry. So this is the 4 hour, and what I've done with the 4 hour chart is I've just plotted a trend line.
Okay.
Again, we're trying to look for 3 points of contact, or 2 points of contact, and what I did was initially we had the trend line sitting at something like this, the last swing low.
Yeah. Okay.
But then we had this happen overnight during the Asian session. We've had a bit of a reversal and a rejection. So I want to pull my trend line up to here, and I want to make it. I want to include that because this is the most recent bit of price action right here.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to say to myself is, I don't want to have a stop loss down here at 126. I want to have it a bit tighter, and really I want to have it up here where the last swing low was. So that's at around 126.20.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because we've reversed,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's a 4 hour candle as well. These are 4 hour candles, so it's gone up, and so then also on this 4 hour we have our 200 EMA, which it's testing. So that's quite a powerful EMA as well. Do you use EMAs, by the way? Do you use any moving averages?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I never use them. I try to make some sense of it, but I didn't get it. So I just took them out completely. But now I'm just giving another try, and let's see how it. So I got them on as well.
Okay.
Just trying to learn from it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. It's good to learn new things. It's good to have new things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we have here on the 4 hour, again you're using high time frames, you said that, so that's good as well. So you want to
Yeah,
look at it on the
yeah,
4 hour and the daily. When you put your EMAs on there, they show you that price is kind of consolidating. Um, it's trying to go up, we're trying to see it break. You can clearly see on the 4 hour now the three times that I was talking about to the upside. This is the third attempt, it's coming up to test for a third
yeah,
time. So if it can break, um, yeah, if it can break, then we're going to look for longs.
yeah, yeah.
What else? Pivots. This is the other thing I wanted to share with you as well. Have you ever used these pivot points?
Nope.
Okay, so they have them on TradingView. What a pivot is it's a formula. It takes the previous day's high plus the previous day's low plus the closing price. So three levels, three numbers, and then what it does is it adds them together and divides it by 3 to get the mean average.
Okay.
And then what it does is it plots your central pivot, which is here, base pivot. We call that the base pivot. Then we have an S1, an S2, and an S3, which is support 1, support 2, support 3.
Okay.
And then R1, resistance 1, resistance 2, resistance 3. And again, what this does is just helps to provide price action. Is it overextended? Is it overbought, oversold? Everything has like a daily range. And so, how much is something going to move in one day? And so when you trade certain pairs, you get to know them. You get to know, you get to know how much they move in a day. And so having this on there can help you as well see if price is overbought, oversold. Above the daily pivot means that it's bullish and it's looking to go up and test these resistance levels to the upside. So they can be quite helpful to gauge, where's price at, So that they're useful as well. Again, a secondary confluence.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got quite a few confluences, but if you know how to use them, they're not too much. There's not too many. In terms of how much importance you give to each one of these is up to you. It depends on the day. It depends the price action. We'll look and we'll think, okay, that it's respecting that. You'll see it respect something or acknowledge something, or you'll see it not respect it. And if it respects it, acknowledges it, reacts off it, you'll notice that, and you'll think, okay, this is using that. It's using the EMA, or it's using the pivots, it's using the fibs. You can see it. You'll see it using it, and you think, okay, this is being used. So let's keep this on my chart, and let's use it. Let's use it because it's been acknowledged. And so every day's different. Some days it might use a trend line. Some days it might use all of it. Some days it might use just one of it. And so if you see at least 3 things being used, it may well help you get into that trade. You're looking for at least 3 types of confluence. So with me, every day for the next few months, what you can do is you can scan the markets and you can look for these confluences. That's all you're doing as a trader. You're looking for confluences. You're looking for a reason to get into a trade. And you can send me a screenshot of the chart and you can say, look, what do you think to this? And we can go over it.
Okay. Okay.
And we can do that. And then every day we can come in like this, half an hour. We can review live, and we can go over it one to one, and we can go, look at the strategy and how the strategy is being used.
Okay.
What currency pairs or what have you been trading? What do you like to trade? Do you trade everything or just a few things?
Yeah. So kind of started looking into everything, but it gets too confusing. So I just pretty much started focusing on Euro USD,
Okay.
GBP USD,
Okay.
GBP GPY.
Okay. So yeah, GBP pairs. Yeah.
Yeah, Euro USD, and what else? I got USCAD as well. I just
Oh,
picked
you've
some
got dollar CAD
more.
as well. Okay, dollar CAD. Cool.
Yeah, and then I got the DXY and the gold.
Oh,
Just
yeah, Dixie and gold. Okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. What I'm So I can, of course, I have more here, but I tend to focus on these
Hmm.
and just to keep good track of them. But yeah, that's what I say. Sometimes it makes perfect sense. Other days it's just I'm completely off. It's just seeing things go by and not. So I didn't see how I can make an opportunity out of it.
That's
So
fine. That's
yeah,
fine. Sometimes there might not be something that you're happy with or comfortable with,
yeah,
which is important to note in that you don't trade or you sit on your hands. And if traders did that more often, they would be more
yeah,
profitable because trading less is important. People come in and just try and trade every day and they end up
yeah,
often
yeah,
over trading. It's not healthy. And also you have to consider your work life balance. You said you like your life, you like flying, things are good.
yeah,
Appreciate where you're at, appreciate what you've got compared with some people, and value it,
fair enough.
and try and always. It's very hard to not become complacent, but I think you need to focus on other things because then you trade less. So you come in, you look for setups. If you see something you like, you have a go. If you don't see what you like, you leave it alone.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And it's really important. That's really, really important. So this is what this is about. This an opportunity now is for us to catch up every day, and then we can be a little bit more disciplined and say, okay, this is a setup.
Okay.
And then we can say, right, how do we trade this setup? Well, we plan it. We look at, it's like dollar yen, for example. We look at what's going on here. We wait for the US traders to come in, and we think to ourselves, okay, if the US traders come in and they want to take this up, they're going to test this for a third time. We may see it break. We've got a trend line on here. This is a 4-hour chart. Let's drill down to a 1-hour chart as well and have a look.
Okay.
And then the entries need to be viewed on say a 15-minute chart and a 5-minute chart because you're looking for an entry there on the smaller time
Okay.
frame. So again, where's the stop loss going to be? Well, stop loss at the moment has got to be somewhere around this last low around
Okay.
126.20. But ideally, we
Yeah.
want to see if we can, see if we can get it a little bit higher, so a bit lower, less a lower stop
Yeah.
loss. We don't have massive stops.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in order
Yeah.
to do that, we need to drill down. So we'll drill down to the 1 hour, and we'll say, okay, 1 hour looks pretty good. We've had a decent move up. It may well pull back. So see that reversal candle here on that 1 hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I got it.
So we could put our stop loss around 126.40. So bit by bit, we are pulling stops up higher and higher and higher, and we're just reducing the reducing our appetite for the exposure to risk. And do you know if you're in a trade, what sort of risk would you like to take? How much percentage would you like to risk generally?
That's I'd say 1% is good, but on a really really good setup, maybe increase it. But I just say generally like 1% is good. Just take it easy and slow.
And what's your long term kind of plan? What would you like to do over the next year or two? Where trading is concerned, how does it fit in with your life?
Yeah. So right now I have complete complete availability for trading, but yeah. Assuming things get back to normal, I just like to wake up, just pretty much do what we're doing, check for confluences, good setups, and not pressuring myself into trading. So if there's a good setup, just go. I mean, let's back it up a bit. Honestly, I would like to really make this work now and go for a funded account with FTMO or something like that, and then
Okay,
just
yeah,
have that freedom to work with it and just make make something out of it, but not a number or anything. So just keep a low risk
yeah,
and get a good reward with it. That's pretty
okay,
much it.
okay, yeah. FTMO, these challenges are good, so we could focus on preparing you for stuff, something like that, and
Yeah,
just preparing you for looking for setups and. Okay, so
yeah,
let's stick with this dollar CAD for the moment because it's not a pair that I trade very often, but the setup's there,
yeah,
it looks good. I'll show you. Did I show you on the weekly? That's what it looks like on the
yeah,
on the weekly. We've got a 76.4,
yeah,
so we've got a 764
yeah,
strategy. So it's a 764 strategy. We've had that weekly reversal candle 2 weeks ago. We've had the pullback last week, and we're still, we're still optimistic to the upside. We're still trying to go up. We're still trying to push higher.
Yeah.
So that's really, really promising, really interesting. So yeah, if we come up to test it a third time, we want to see what it does at the third attempt. It could be a triple top, and it could just fail and just sell off, and then we could see it all the way back down. But if it can find some support and eventually just break on up through, then we want to look for 129, 129.50. So this is where we would look at the 1 hour chart, and then maybe drill down to, as I say, a 15-minute chart as well, a 5-minute chart. Look for entries on those smaller time frames. I think you can clearly see on the 1 hour though, it's pretty decent. Yeah, you've had a decent move, had a little bit of a pullback. Yeah, it's looking all right. It's looking pretty promising, looking good to the upside.
Yeah.
So we'll just keep that like that. We'll keep that on. We'll keep the dollar CAD on our radar. I've identified all the confluences. Hopefully some of this makes sense. I've recorded this as well, so you can keep this and just go over it again. Also, what you can do is you can look at the other markets, the other pairs that you trade, the other things that you like to look at. And if you see a setup or you like the look of a chart and you want some help with it, then send it to me. Send me a screenshot and say, what do you think to this? But give your reason as to why you like the look of it, and then we can build on that. And what we'll do is we do that every day. You're going to build on your knowledge, on your experience, what you see, what you're seeing with your eyes.
Okay.
And we want to have 2 targets as well. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you? So sometimes I get, let's say I just yesterday, I can sit on the computer and just take a look at a market. How do you keep track of what we've been talking about? Let's say you just started, you're just checking USDCAD, and how do you, all this we've been through, you take notes, or how do you structure it keep track of it?
Well, it just comes with experience. It's like, how do you fly your plane? How do you make sense of all those dials, all those buttons that you have on the plane? What do you use all of those buttons? Do you use all those dials? Do you know what they're all about? How long did it take you to learn all of those dials? If I sat into a cockpit, which I've sat into a cockpit when I've flown years ago, when we were allowed to go into a cockpit, we were flying to Australia. Yeah. And they let me go in. I was a teenager, so they allowed me to go in to the cockpit. And we were flying over Singapore. It was amazing because I looked up and it was just black, and we could see space because we're at like 33,000 feet. And I looked down and we had the whole of Singapore as an island. It looked amazing. The view was, I'd never forget that. I was like 13 or something, and it was great. And they let me see it. I think it was either Qantas I was flying with or British Airways. But I was sat in a cockpit with the pilots, and obviously you have all of those dials. It's alien to me. None of it makes any sense as a kid. Yeah. So you learn. It just comes. You start looking at the same thing every day, and you'll familiarise yourself. You give yourself a week or so. You start looking at this, and you start to recognise it. You've got your trend lines. Make a note of it. Put it in some order. So you have. I'll give you a list of things. You've got your fib levels. So we have the fib extension here on this dollar CAD. We have divergence on the awesome oscillator. We have our other indicators that have yet to really come into play, so we're going to keep an eye on them and see if they can provide some clarity, but they're not really doing anything at the moment. We have the EMAs, which are currently being tested, and we'd be looking for maybe the 200 EMA. We have the pivots as well. The pivots are important to tell us if something is overbought, oversold. We have a trend line as well. We're sitting at around, just hovering below 127 as a round number also. Yeah. So that there are about, 4, 5, 6 different things that we can take into consideration and look at. And the beautiful thing about this is when you get used to seeing these things and how price reacts at these key levels or using these key indicators, you start to familiarise yourself. You start to recognise the same things happening. If it doesn't happen, you think, right, I don't like this. This is not what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, you walk away.
Yeah, that's it. Or you look for further confluences. Sometimes it's really clear. and sometimes it's not. It's never an exact science. But when things are, when the stars are aligned and everything is moving beautifully, it's great. And you think, okay, this is really nice. So you can take risk. Now, just going back to what you said about risk, your risk should be 0.5%, and you're looking to make maybe 1%, 2%, 3% plus, on a good move. And you want to have two targets as well, because you want to take some profit at T1. And you want to then move your stop loss to maybe break even and take half of your position off and then leave it to run. So if you're risking 0.5%, and that's say 30 pips stop loss, then you want to look for like a 30 pip profit, for your T1, and so see where that lines up in line with everything else. So like if we were to go long here on the dollar CAD and we got in early and we got in now. On the 4-hour break of the EMA, for example, then we could say, okay, where's the previous high? The previous high is at around 127.40 area. So we could say, okay, let's take it up to there, which would give us about 30 plus pip move, 40 pips, 50 pips even, So that could be a really juicy T1. Where's our stop loss going to be? Well, our stop loss needs to be below this trend line, which could be around 126.20 to 40. So you're probably looking at a roughly 1-to-1 right now.
Yeah.
So that's pretty decent.
You always sometimes you start like even a risk reward, so 1-to-1, and then just see if it goes up for the other targets, or
you want to have a decent 1-to-1, but your focus is the T2. The T2 for us is 129.50. That's going to be 129.50 with divergence. The divergence strategy is to spot divergence, which we have, off the 127 extension, which we have perfectly. So then we want it to go back, the play is to take it back to the 100% previous structure, which is 129.50, 129.51. So we round it down. I always round my numbers down as well. I always want to take profit a little bit sooner. You never know. Sometimes it'll blow past it, sometimes it won't. But we have also on the daily, we have 200 EMA. So yeah, take that away with you, and I'll send you the copy of this recording now, and then we'll catch up tomorrow, okay?
Perfect. All right.
And if you have any questions in the meantime, you're not sure of something, just ask me again, make a note of it, and I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, if that's okay for you.
Yeah, that's perfect. I got it all set up with the wife and kids, so.
Oh, okay.
At least I have a free hour.
Okay, mate. Perfect.
From 11 to 12, yeah.
Great stuff. All right, I will see you tomorrow.
Okay, thanks a lot, Alex.
Yeah, no worries. Keep going. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.